Please refer to the scheduled reading.
Shared one I read and one I am reading.
And I was like, here, I'll show you my notes for the book.
So Jordan, you agreed way too quickly on that.
Oh,
Well, I'm just gonna take her word for it.
it's like a book day. They go to all. Social for the building, and then there's the meeting. There's a meeting at 3, and then there's happy hour. Is the meeting here? No, it's at Eden Prairie.
I told her to. That one did.
Sure. This is hitting today right now because.
Probably just following the wedding.
Customer service. Yeah.
Take off the.
Hi, Ray. Morning.
Ooh, sushi.
Little sushi Wednesday.
It's like breakfast.
Feel like you're ahead of schedule.
Yeah, I feel like that's the next hour.
Yeah.
Oh, that looks worse than your knee.
Sushi seems so good.
And that's great. Where's Derek? Where's Kevin? Where's Scott? Where's
Yeah.
Angie?
Lead by. I saw Angie earlier.
I think we'll lead by example.
I'm here.
Richard. It's too early for sushi. And I love that.
Is that what you just said? I gotta go to 2 showings and then list the appointment and then get back
At what
here for
time?
happy hour. To be there. Oh,
What's at 12:30?
showing number 2. Showing number 2.
What's at 12:30?
Accountability.
No, not when we.
I
have
know,
agency.
but remember what we usually do today? We usually do dinner.
Ice cream social, we do what?
We usually do dinner.
He's
Legit, be legit.
scary. Julia.
In town until what, 3 o'clock? Oh.
She's freaked out.
All right, well, the rest of the AOC decides to show up, or it's just gonna be Jelena and Rick and I. Let's start with something good, or bucket fill.
I want to bucket fill Jim Camarada. You were just chatting out in the parking lot yesterday and he was just filling my bucket. So yeah.
Awesome. Super awesome. What else?
I'm taking my sister on a airplane ride up next Monday for our birthdays. So,
Like a private
Oh, like
airplane
you're-
ride?
Not to Japan.
yeah, it's a private plane. Yeah.
Yeah. That's on your vision board.
Yeah. But it was to Japan, not like.
Close. Where are you flying out of?
uh,
Thanks. Oh, thanks. And where's it going fun?
around. Do the big loop.
Very well. How are ya? All right, what else is good?
That's
I referred him a client and they just informed me they're closing on a commercial building on August 1st.
Well, that would be like a surprise. Like, yay. Really great. What else is good?
I'm gonna follow up on that and I'll additionally bucket fill Royce for the both of us. Because we referred him another client and the client called us, this particular, high level professional. And he said that Royce is unbelievable. So he was just so impressed.
Oh,
Hopefully they get the deal done on that one too. But he's been doing
super
great.
cool.
Yeah. That's good. Real good connection.
All right, what else? What else is good? Derek?
Hi, I'll bucket fill Emily. She became an aunt for the second time on Monday night. Great, Caden, 9 pounds.
Yeah, big boy.
Big boy.
Big boy.
Big boy.
When they're babies.
A big, large human.
All right, 2 more. Come on, I know there's good things, so someone's got to share some of them.
I set that, I told you, I think last time I was gonna set listing appointments when I came back and I'm writing an offer after this meeting's over and we're gonna put your home on the market within 2 weeks to get everything going, so.
Right.
That was a win.
Where is the horn?
Did anybody fill Amy's bucket?
Amy Black?
Yes,
No.
Amy Black.
No,
She's
nobody's still filling it.
She's been crushing it.
Yeah, do you
And-
want to just,
I'll fill Amy's bucket.
okay. There it
I don't, somebody else described this situation. She's been doing very well with it.
Yeah. I don't, how long has she been licensed?
She's on here somewhere, it looks like she's online.
Amy says
Amy,
thank you.
tell me the Story.
3 months she's been.
3 months. Amy's like, I cannot talk right now. Okay.
Busy slinging deals.
I mean, she's just got some really great stories about connecting, right? She's doing the work, she's making the calls, making the connections, doing the open houses. I think one week she did like 3 or 4 open houses. I mean, it was like Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Sunday or something like that. Got her listing. I think it ended up being $999, $1 million listing. And then she just signed another one in Waverly, which is $899. So not only is she signing listings, being very new to the business, these are like no joke listings. Okay, so when you're like, I can't be a luxury agent, or I can't, sign a $1 million listing. Her first listing was essentially $1 million, and her second one is 100,000 shy of it. So truly a mindset piece, and really proud of her. And they're actually buying as well. I think that new listing is a sell buy.
And I believe that was a FISBO.
Yeah.
The second one was a FISBO that she
Yeah.
called.
Yeah. Yep.
That's really exciting.
All right, one more good thing.
I met with listing last night and they, it's gonna end up being 2 listings. That's a parents and kids buying a house together, multi-generational home that they're gonna build. And then they both have a home.
Awesome. All right.
Okay, fine.
I should be there. I'm like,
So a couple good things. Amy's letting us do an open house at one of her listings tomorrow, and I was circle dialing around it and had 2 really good phone calls right off the bat, and am going to go, there's a house potentially that could be selling due to the homeowner situation, so I'm gonna go down there and do the door knock. Specifically stop at that house.
can we also specify that? Because she called 2 different people in that neighborhood and said, well, do you know anyone else that's thinking about selling? And 2 different people referred her that person, right? So when you're calling or circle prospecting, it's truly maybe they're not going to sell. But I'm going to tell you, everybody knows what's going on in their neighborhood. I mean, this morning, my daughter called me at 9:30 and was like, there's a dumpster in the neighbor's yard. Did the guy with the walker die? I don't know. She's like, because they're throwing all of this stuff in the dumpster, right? People know, like, what's going on in your neighborhood. And they both referred you the same person, essentially, from 2 calls in a row. They were like, what about the guy at whatever his address is?
Yeah, so I'm
Super
hoping
cool.
to sort the address and then follow up today before I drive down there, but still head down and knock on the door. Nobody might be home, but I'll still leave stuff for.
I think the other thing about that, so following is working for a lot of people right now. I was working out this morning and this guy was like, yeah, there was a house that went on the market next to my house. I didn't even know where they were selling. And I walked over there and I was like, well, why did you sell? And he goes, some guy knocked on our door and was like, here, do you want a market analysis? And they listed their house. So when you're like, oh, it just doesn't work. This guy's not even in real estate that told me this morning. Was like, yeah, our neighbor, just some agent knocked on the door and was like, do you know what your home is worth? Told them what it was worth. They sold and they're going to buy a new place. Like, door knocking works if you're able to do it and want to do it. Honestly, it's not even if you want to do it. It's, where do you want your lead gen from? Calling works. You just have to pick up the phone and start calling. Networking works. Pick the thing and just double down on it, essentially. All right, moving on. Super cool, Maddie. Book club. Okay, so I'm really excited about this. We are going to start the MREA book club, and it's going to start on August 2nd.
Back here.
I remember that, like, I was really excited too. But the reason for this is it's essentially going back to the basics. So when I'm talking about door knocking, I'm talking about calling open houses, whatever it is, it's going back to the basics. And right now, I believe that's what we need in our business because it's going to be about numbers. It's going to be about tracking. It's going to be about skill set, right? So starting August 2nd, we will send out via email, most likely, and then we'll have it on our social medias as well. And each week, what chapters or what page numbers we're going to be reading each week. It's about 30 pages a week. And anyone that's like, oh my gosh, that's a lot. If you've ever opened up the MREA, there are a lot of charts and there's a lot of diagrams. And then each week during our team meeting, we are going to be going over a topic for about 60 days on the readings of the prior week. Are you laughing right now? What are you two just snickering about right now? The two clowns in the class right now are distracting the teacher. So it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. And that can also kind of double down on things that you can be doing in your business. And this is going to lead up to kind of our business planning clinic that's going to be happening in September. And then the pre-business planning clinic that's going to be happening in August. Do you guys have any questions regarding that? Does everybody have a copy of the MREA?
I have 2 copies, so if someone doesn't have one, I can loan.
Awesome. Something that I find really helpful is taking that copy that you have to like Kinko's or a FedEx or somewhere and get it spiral bound because it's really easy to flip through then, and then you can kind of, it's just, I like it better and it works more as a workbook at that point than it does an actual like book. So no questions, comments? Who's excited? Who's going to read it with us? Okay, I'm glad the people that aren't were honest about it. Totally kidding. All right, next slide. Training calendar. So we've got some really great things coming up in the rest of July. Impact is still going on. So there's not as many like Tuesday, Thursday trainings besides the impact portion. Today we are having our R&R/happy hour. Rick, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so that's going to be from 4 to 6 at the Baja House in Wayzata. It's like 6 minutes away. We've had some really, really good conversations there. The thing that I like most about it, especially the last couple of days, that we've been able to network with agents, get to know them a little bit better, and we've actually done some business that way as well. That's not the total purpose, but it's really good to socialize. So just join us. A lot of fun. A lot of variety of different realtors will be there, and it's a nice time. It's a great place too.
Oh, and with the calendar, by the way, you can click on all these links if you guys don't know yet, and it goes right to the Eventbrite, and you can sign up there. So if you're looking for the link, just go to the calendar.
And all of our Tuesday, Thursday, and all the Tuesday, Thursday trainings come back in July now that impact, August, now that impact's gonna be done.
Yep. Okay, I'm gonna actually skip to the ALC slide actually right now. Okay, so I hear a motion to start the ALCB. I motion that. Awesome. All right, so yes, we are still reading the book. I got a nice text message that was like, are we still reading the book? We are still reading the book. The book that we're doing, which obviously goes with me everywhere, is Know What You're For. I like this book a lot. I think it takes you back to vision. It takes you back to purpose. And I think some people, including maybe even a company at large, could have lost that during COVID, right? Because we all kind of had to shift and change, and it's hard. It's difficult because we had to change actually how business was being done and where our value was. The chapters that we read we're essentially talking about, do people in your community know your purpose? Like, yeah, go.
Can we pause for a second? And is it possible, as I was reading this, I was thinking about something, and then to have a conversation as well. But is it possible to pull up that, where entrepreneurs thrive again video again? 'Cause I think that goes really well. So if
I
you go
don't know what
to,
video that is.
I think it goes really well with our 2 chapters. You know what I'm talking about, Amy?
I do know which one you're talking about, but I don't, hold on. Why don't you just tell me why you think that's that? And I'm gonna pull that up real quick,
I
right?
have the video, I just can't get to it. So the context of these next 2 chapters, I think are the touchy-feely part of our businesses.
Find it?
Yeah, what I love about it is the question was, if your business went away or your company or whatever went away, would people care? And what is that greater sense of purpose? And I know, Katie, you just said, even maybe our own little spot, but I thought this video, and then to lead into some of our conversations.
Well, can we talk about why this video was made? The video was actually made because we didn't have anything that was telling what our purpose was.
Yeah,
I mean, Gary brought in his son and was like, do something.
yeah.
Like, I said, like, do something to make an impact on what we actually stand for.
Let's show it and then get feedback on it and then put that into the context of the next 2
Cool.
chapters. Does that sound good?
That sounds fantastic. Lydia, next time we'll make sure that we forward you.
Yeah, sorry.
company, and simply as people. Your clients are feeling that same thing when they come to you. Their first homes, their final homes, newly married, newly divorced, empty nesters or more on the way. These are the most joyous, terrifying, and hopeful times of all our lives, because your clients are jumping off cliffs and trusting you to build wings on the way down. We get to feel the thrill of that connection every day, if we do our jobs right. And if we do our jobs right, they aren't jobs at all. It is indeed a calling to build careers worth having, businesses worth owning, and lives worth living. To be entrepreneurs. For 40 years, we at Keller Williams have deeply believed that entrepreneurship is the miracle of America. That in America, if you can dream it, you can build it. We're privileged to be in the business of buying and selling the most important and life-changing dream. The dream of owning a home of your own. It's not just an American dream, it's a dream shared around the world. At Keller Williams, we want to continue to earn the right to be the home of the dreamers, the doers, the entrepreneurs, the hundreds of thousands of you who have dreamed and built your own business, and in the process, built ours. We all know everything changes, but we will always champion you, The entrepreneurs who are powered by purpose, by energy and passion, teamwork, trust and technology, integrity and culture, and trained in the rules of how we would do it, but who also have the confidence to bend the rules in ways Gary never dreamed of, but hoped you would. You see, we aren't here to teach you our past or to try and predict your future. We're here to help you create the future. We are reigniting a culture of celebrating entrepreneurial visionaries. Because real leaders don't create followers. We create more leaders. We are teaching rebellion and inspiring invention. Your mavericks and world changers, and your relentless creativity, fueled by the competitive drive inside every one of you, will make the real estate models of today look quaint by the time you're finished. Everything we ever did was a risk. We started as a little underdog company and grew to be the largest real estate company in the world. You know what underdogs do when they get big? They look for bigger fights. Look for those fights. We want you to out-Gary Gary. Take risks, take heart, take action. All these things that you are for your clients, the coach, the therapist, and the key to a new future, we will redevote ourselves to being for you. There's a reason we want your name larger than ours on signs. When you look at your clients and think to yourself, it's not about me, it's about them. Well, it's not about us. It's about you. This is the most important time in our lives. You're living in a home built for entrepreneurs to thrive. And true entrepreneurs don't have to wait for doors to open for them. After all, we have our own lockboxes. Welcome home.
So without leading much of the way, I think there's some things there that are not, go back 3 years, right? And we became number one in agent count, number one in sales in the country, number one in volume in the country, number one. And those were the things that we were promoting. And somehow in that we lost, maybe not lost, maybe that's too strong a word, but we weren't communicating as greatly as the why, the who, the how, the therapist, the coach,
Well, to that point though, I think that Gary did what in that video, he said he was gonna do. He created other leaders, but those other leaders started other companies who are now our direct competition. You know what I mean? Like in essence, though, he did create other leaders that have become innovative in creating other companies that just so happens to be 3-letter word.
Yeah.
I mean, if we want to really point out like what's the purpose, right? Is they believe that there's some other innovation in it, right? And now that's where you look inside and you say, okay, what can you do as a company? And that's what they're doing. That's what Keller's doing right now.
Well, I like the board. I believe Kevin is leading to is that because I feel the same way is that for a few years prior to us becoming the highest quantity of sales in history in the US, that was the goal. The goal is to get there. How do you grow the company big enough so that we could actually be the biggest company? Because that was important. We're at the top. And then you couple COVID with now we are the biggest. You put that together, and what ended up happening is there needed to be a shift to why. Why are we the biggest? And that's what that video is about. That's actually what these chapters are about. It's about how do you have an effect on the community? Does the community know that you exist? Are you purposeful in the community? Are you making change in the community? The community can be your clients. It doesn't have to be the city you live in. It doesn't have to be the whole western suburbs of Minnesota. It can be your clients first, your family, your clients that you take care of, and then expand it beyond that. It's like, do we have an impact? And I think that's the key to the video is that we are here to make an impact on other people's lives with the skills that we're developing.
Which is, I mean, do people know, they know who Gary Keller is and Keller Williams is for sure, right? I mean, this weekend I was talking to an investor who randomly lives in Texas. Oh, really? Oh, I live in Austin. They're like, well, who do you work, like, what company do you work for? And I was like, I work for Keller. She's like, oh, Gary. Yeah, Gary. We know Gary. And I was like, what? I mean, random Minnesota person that went to, you know what I mean? Like, like that is known on Keller Williams and Gary Keller, for sure.
I think one of the things I liked about the video that really correlated with the book is, talked about, was it Bulldog Nation? Is that what he talked about? Was Bulldog Nation? The college, right? Or let's just say the U of M was right here. If the U only thought of its people as the people that attended that school, but a lot of us claim the U for different things, for like sports or for, you know, hotel or whatever. And the impact is even greater than those who are their direct customers. And I think for our businesses as well is if we pulled out of our community, is our impact is such that would anyone notice, right? And then is there any good that was happening that would cease to happen because we're no longer part of that? One of the things I loved about the video as well is, and I think it might be chapter 16 instead of chapter 15, that talks about if we can, and it's an old saying, if we help people get what they want, we're going to get what we want, right? The more impact that we have, you know, the better it's going to do it with our business as well, right? It's just it's a natural thing. So rather than setting it on just this to evaluate, well, where is our impact, and as a consequence of that impact, our businesses are going to be in a better spot.
And I think to get there, we have to all decide what is the priority and what is our focus? Because that video to me is split right down the middle. 50% of it is encouraging realtors, that realtors do. All these positive things, all these skill sets we have, that's all building us up. The other 50% is about the real reason that people, I believe, should be in real estate. This is your choice though. Is the real reason is because those skills are going to provide a benefit to the people that we're caring for. They're going to provide a benefit to our clients. And the greater we develop our skills, the more benefit we are going to provide to our clients, which in turn is going to provide benefit to the community. So it becomes a matter of focus. First focus, priority, what's first? If the client is first, you will be driven to develop the skills that you need to take care of them better than any other realtor because they're first. Then there will be a secondary benefit because we'll be doing our job right and it'll all come back, you know, but the first purpose I think is why Keller Williams is actually number one.
So, I mean, to that point, when you say, would people notice if you just stopped selling real estate? Have you guys asked yourself that when you read the book? Like, would people notice and would they ask you about it? Or would it just, you go about your life and you just don't sell real estate anymore?
Yeah, they'd be like, why are there no homes on the market?
Why are there so many signs over
I mean, like, jokes aside though, would they? Would they notice that?
It depends on, again, if you had an impact on the community is gonna notice that you're no longer there. Probably not because you're not selling real estate, but you're not involved in their life anymore. So, and I think that's the difference. You establish a relationship with the people, you're gonna establish a relationship with the community. Therefore, you are beneficial to the community as they are to you. And all of a sudden, we're not doing this job, which is beneficial to the community. They're gonna miss you. Maybe not your skill set.
You know. Jelena's in like deep thought over
I'm in
here.
deep
She's
thought.
like, I don't know.
I think I spend a fair amount of money on events and giveaways and like I do a monthly VIP program and I don't know if it really makes that much of a difference.
Why?
Yeah, and
Why?
to keep them engaged and keep them excited but I don't know if it's just another thing or if it's, you know, I guess that's where my deep thought was, is maybe I should be focusing, I don't know, on things for particular people or particular clients versus just a general.
What
I
is
have
the
another
primary objective of, think of one event you did recently. What's the primary objective of hosting that event? But was it pickleball?
Yeah.
What was the primary objective of hosting that event?
Lead generation and to stay in front of people. for me, yeah.
She's being completely
Which is
transparent with it,
exactly
right?
what we want.
And I mean, I think this is the point of this conversation is I think real estate. Most people could get out of real estate and someone might ask 2 years down the road, like, hey, you still selling real estate? We've all had that question, right? So when I asked that question, it was actually kind of like, if you got out of real estate, I mean, people would be like, oh my gosh, I think that the doors are closed. They might not notice for most people and most agents, long-term, and are like, you still selling real estate? Oh, yeah. Right? I mean, am I wrong? Am I off on that? Or do people not ask me that question ever?
Always assume I'm doing it.
Okay,
And if I don't do it, then that'd be weird.
yeah, okay.
I think people know why we do it. And
Why?
if we stop doing it,
Why do you do it?
we do it because we care about people and we feel responsible for the gifts that God has given us. And we need to use those to help provide, skills and talents in other people, for other people so that we can benefit them in their life. To use what we've been given to benefit them. And I think if we stop doing it, then it is showing that we don't care for them. I mean, even if we stop all of our clients, I mean, Sherry, can you agree that all our clients are still sell real estate? We still have very close friends that we've established through the relationships. That's the more important piece.
Okay.
Here's a big major variable. If you're afraid of technology taking over our business, you're afraid of AI taking over our business, you're afraid of other companies taking over our business, the only way that's not going to happen is to recognize that real estate is a relational business. That's the only way it won't happen. We are humans that are in relationships. This business, I've been doing this every day for 25 years. And every day for 25 years, this business has been a relationship between two people every single time. That's what this business is about. And I think that's a little bit of a shift in Keller, about the culture. It's about what we're providing. And it changed the game.
Well, I think so when I sent you guys these questions, just via text message, the first one was what problem is your organization trying to solve for the community? If you're to just look at like surface level real estate, right now, what is every agent trying to solve for real estate currently? Well, yeah, but you can't really solve that. But what are we trying to solve? What is it? Lack of inventory, right? So if there is one thing every day that you go out, like you walk in and you come into this office and you're like, what am I going to solve today? I'm going to help solve the inventory problem. How am I going to do that? I'm going to make the calls. I'm going to go door knocking. I'm going to do this. Like, it doesn't have to be this deep. I'm going to, solve the homeowner gap or that doesn't have to be the huge problem that you're solving today, right? You could be so surface level with that. And how are we going to do it? We're going to get more listings. Right? Is that what we're not hearing is inventory? I wish there were more houses on the market. I wish there was more houses on the market. What are we doing every day to solve that problem? Are we lead genning every day and find listings? Eric, you're really quiet today.
Just thinking.
What are you thinking about?
So Jelena said, the purpose of the pickleball tournament was to lead generate and one other thing. What was that?
Stay in front of the client.
Stay in front of her clients. So, and Rick said that's exactly what the book talked about. And I kind of looked at it a little bit differently because the book said it's about developing the community. And if your top two purposes are not developing the community, maybe if you just took a little bit of a different approach and didn't go into it for the purpose of attaining new business, but instead just tried to make it the very best you could and the most beneficial for them, maybe that would result in higher success in like the areas that you're looking for.
Yes, and just for clarity, I 100% disagree with the mindset that this amazing businesswoman presented. Because what we are talking about is the absolute opposite, which is not for us. And that maybe is just a little tiny bit of a mindset thing. If the purpose is for us, if the benefit is to us, And that's going to be expressed whether you want it to be or not, as hard as you work. People will know that it's there to benefit you.
I think my point was that I do all of these events and I spend this money on these rewards programs and maybe I need to do it differently because I mean, the deep thought was, who is this benefiting? And it's not necessary. I mean, they might miss it for a month or two, but they will get over it quickly if I go out of business. And so it's obviously not to the benefit of my clients or the people I host these events for. It's for me. And so that was the deep thought that I was having. And
Of
I mean,
course.
the name of the chapter was Good for Goodness Sake. And I don't think that's what I'm doing. So
Could you consider this possibility then? Start thinking in the future, what other things can I do that are gonna be more beneficial to the client directly? Try it.
Yeah.
See how that goes, and then hope that there's a positive return.
Right.
Can I
afterwards.
be really blunt on this? Because I think,
Aren't we all?
I think this book is great. And I'm gonna ask you this, Rick. If you did not have some sort of ROI on an event that you were spending money on, where it's like you get to be in front of someone or you get something, would you still hold the event?
If it were beneficial to my clients, 100%. Absolutely.
Okay.
Because again, you cannot, and that maybe it's just me, it's our team. We can't shift the mindset off of it's gotta be for them first. And, if you're seeing that benefit, then yeah, and maybe it'll take a long time. I think that's the hard thing.
I
It's
think,
not instantaneous
I
at
think
all.
sometimes, the measure of the return might be different as well, right? There's a reason across the country, we shut down for one day and go serve, right? That's for doing good, for goodness sake. I don't think there are ways to take advantage of that and use that as marketing and different things, but that day is just about doing good in the community. And I think if we went back to the same, starts with an A, who did we serve with this year? Aon. If we showed up for Aon year after year after year, and then we said, this year we're not doing it, they would notice,
Yep.
right? Because we're doing good for goodness sake. And I think that's where that return might not be in transactions we can look at directly, but there is a sense of they're important to our community, right? And I live in a little town of like 4,000 people or less, right? And so when I was on the school board and the fire department and worked at a church and everything, I had like a good that wasn't real estate at all.
Yeah.
But when I withdrew from that, people knew, right? Or realtors, Shannon Santa is a realtor. I'd love her to be in office. She's awesome. But when we finally did a transaction, she said, "Oh, Kevin, I heard about you. I heard from everyone. You're a great guy to do stuff with." And that is just we hadn't interacted until that one spot because we're doing good in that community. I think there's impact. And sometimes maybe our communities are too big, like we just span too big that we can't really have impact, right? Gary sometimes says, go big by going small. But I think sometimes good for goodness sakes is just the right thing.
And there's a place for calling for sale by owners and for calling expired listings to get business right now. And there's another place that we're talking about, which is much bigger, and that's developing business. That's developing a network, a group of people that you care about, that care about you, that is going to continue to build your business over time. Those are two very, very different things. You do have to have both. And a team leader is certainly going to encourage you to make those immediate ones as well, so that we can get immediate business because you want it. We're talking about building. This is more like all of these companies, none of them are immediate response. Like almost everything in here is never going to be an immediate feedback, an immediate response. It's something that they're building up to. So, which I just think is worth owning.
I just want to go back because you said a team leader. Here's the thing about that video, that the title is where entrepreneurs thrive. If we as a company would have conversations like, if every time you met with a Keller Williams person, it felt different than talking to any other brokerage. We don't talk to you about, hey, by the way, we lowered the cap to 13,000. We lowered to this. We talk about, we're going to teach you how to thrive so you get everything you want in your family. That's going to take place in coaching. That's going to take place in these Red Book groups. That's going to take place in this, but and never lose that purpose of, we want to help you thrive. If you thrive, closings are going to come. If you thrive, all these different things. But if we help you thrive, then we have an impact on your life.
So I gotta just do a quick bucket fill for our team leader because this just happened yesterday. She met with a very successful realtor that's got a big team that Sherry and I referred her to. And what came from the meeting is Kami offered that gentleman free coaching. And I think when you think about it, that's the key, right? That's the key, is that exactly what you're talking about. Because there could have been an entirely different conversation about, hey, what can we do for you and what can you do for us? And it's all exciting and we're gonna bring you in as you're gonna go gangbusters. Instead, you said, listen, okay, I'm gonna just sit back and I'm gonna offer you something coming from contribution. That's huge because that's our culture.
Thank you. And his challenge is he has 23 agents on his team. And he's like, I'm not providing them what they need. Right. And he's like, the only reason I have these agents on my team is because I want them to be able to learn from me and then go off on their own. Like, at no point in time was this particular agent saying, I want to, become rich off of these agents. It was essentially his desire and his vision for his team is not to always be 23 agents the same. As soon as they're done, I said, you kind of treat it like a nest and then they fly away. He's like, exactly. And so his deficit is he doesn't know how to, he's like, we finally just started meeting as a whole group, like every Tuesday. And he's like, we just started that like 4 weeks ago. And it's just, it's asking questions. I think I talked maybe 5-10 minutes in that entire meeting besides asking questions and letting him tell me what he wanted and what he needed and what he's lacking.
Because you do, and we do have something right now.
Yeah.
Which then in turn will provide all of his clients with a much better experience.
Yep.
No question.
You started with what's an it problem we're all trying to solve, and you said inventory. I would say it back. I would say the challenge that we're all trying to solve is there are people who want to buy a house and can't find it, don't know how, or there are people that want to sell their house and don't know how. We can break it down to I want to help that person do that, right? So I need to be able to introduce myself to that person. I think about the grand inventory piece. So I think that's one of the things that makes me want to help these people more because it's going to work. So if I can put it down, there's a person at the end of this. Susie wants to buy a house that she can't find anything to buy. She doesn't know how to go about it. Well, now I can be a solution to that, to help her for all the different reasons she wants to get a different place. That way I think is some.
Eric, do you have an idea?
I do have back to,
I was like, I see him scratching down. I have an idea.
with Jelena's event, every time we've done an event, we are putting effort into figuring out what additional things we can do to make the event better for us. And I'm speaking personally, like that, we do that every time. And I was thinking, what if there was something you could do that makes the event or community more valuable for them? And maybe that's getting them to talk amongst themselves within the community so that there's value in the community for them additionally by creating the relationships, whether that's like a mixer thing that they now have something to talk about or a reason to talk to amongst themselves rather than just coming and bringing their family and doing the thing and then getting out,
Maybe they even invite somebody that they think could use that sort of event. Someone who's having a tough time. Hopefully can reach out. It's not just our clients, but let our clients bring some people,
Yeah.
Be kind of cool.
So, to kind of wrap this portion up, what I would say to anybody, there were some questions in this book, I think, as a real estate agent, as a human being, actually are interesting to ask yourself. One, what problem is our organization trying to solve for the community? 2, how are we making the community better? Why should the community care if our organization starts to struggle? This one I think hits home because right now there are a lot of agents that are struggling. Is the community caring that they're struggling? Is your sphere caring that you're struggling? Are your clients caring that you're struggling?
For telling them that, you know,
Why
that
not?
anyone telling them they're,
But why not?
maybe they'll lose trust in our ability. I mean, I think that is it for me. I am fearful that if I tell them like I am not selling nearly as many houses as I did last year, what does that make me look like to them?
I think, but is there a part of the honesty with that of, hey, you know what, the market's this way? Or that's a really big self-reflection moment. Why am I selling less? And why would I feel how I felt telling them that, right? I think it's an interesting, I just think it's an interesting conversation to have with yourself sometimes is everyone, how many times are you saying, oh no, it's great. Business is great. Everything's awesome. Everything is fantastic.
Every time they ask me.
And is it?
You know, there's one thing that I say consistently to every single person that asks, it's always the same, is because it's what's happening right now, the reality is, yeah, the market is slower. We're just having to work a lot harder because that is the actual reality. And that's not a bad thing because the market's not just slow for real estate. It's kind of sketchy for everyone right now. The economy's not super exciting. People are having to work harder and it's okay to work harder. So let's join them.
I
And let's
think-
all work
I
harder.
think that's a great point though, too, when you say that, what, if I was someone that you said that to, I'd be like, well, what do you mean by that? Right? Like, what do you mean by working harder? And I mean, because I think a lot of people are like, hey, you had a real estate license, you could sell it, I can do it, it's easy. What does that mean? And it gives you the opportunity to say, these are the
All
things that it
things we're
means.
doing now.
It means I have to make sure I know my negotiation skills, I'm doing off-market property, I'm networking with other agents, this, and this, right? It opens the door for you to actually bond with that relationship more than you ever were. Because the moment that you say to someone, everything's great, it's done. Oh, good for you, awesome. So, how are the kids? Right? And then the conversation was kind of over. And I'm not saying being like, oh my gosh, this is the worst year I've ever had in real estate, I'm thinking about quitting. But like, there's a piece of transparency to that where would they care if you're struggling? If you're showing your clients so much care, why wouldn't they care if you were struggling? Because then it's still a one-way street if they actually didn't care.
But remember, the most important thing is right after you say that, and this is, I'm not good at this because I talk more than I listen, obviously.
What?
It's true. I'm gonna enlighten you at the moment and let you know I talk more than I listen. Right after you say that though, yeah, the market is slower and I'm having to work a lot harder. But tell me about you. Tell me about what's going on with your business. Why do you ask? Tell me about you. Gotta shift back to them.
Yeah.
You know, because they heard what we said and if they care, they'll come back to us.
Yeah.
Yeah, and let's just find out what's going on.
So I think that question can open up a lot of doors for all of us in how we're talking to people, right? And then the other one that I really liked was what larger purpose do customers belong to when they support your organization? What larger purpose do customers, clients, whatever you want to, use, belong to when they support your organization? I've seen a lot of agents over the time frame, when they close, their closing gift is to go back to a particular organization of their choosing, right? So instead of them giving them a wine bottle that they're going to consume, someone will say, I will put $100 towards whatever organization that you feel affects your life, right? What are you doing with your clients that they actually feel a purpose, not just that they now own a home, right? Something bigger than that. Is there anything? Do you want to add that to your business plan? I think that's huge. Like to partner, or maybe it's something you believe in, right? Every closing I have, I donate to this particular organization, and I'd be willing to match that same amount to an organization of your choosing. Blaine.
We give our clients a choice. We tell them that we give back 10% of the money that we make. And we will donate it to one of these 3 charities. Which one do you prefer? And we there are some charities that I don't necessarily want to give money to, so I don't put that as an option. But I offer 3, and for one of our recent clients, their parents are missionaries, and so I substituted, because we always do like a Christian charity, a social charity, and then we always just add Feed My Starving Children.
Yeah.
And then, which probably goes under both of those, but I flipped it and I put the charity that their parents were missionaries for as one of their options. It's not what they chose.
Here's the funny thing about that. How many people, I mean, think of I am a sucker for like this bracelet, right? I was in California, Pure Vita, and it's a certain amount of donations go to, this particular color was to, like a woman, like a young girls organization, right? Toms. Every time you buy a pair of Toms, there's one that goes to a child in need. Who would buy that more than like, I'm not saying Nike's bad. Maybe Nike has something too. I just know Toms, right? But if you had some vision in there about home ownership, what would that do? People would talk about that all the time. What if your closing gift is, I'm going to put this amount of money away to give to someone for down payment assistance? How that works, you have to talk to a tax advisor on that, but that'd be kind of cool. Anyways, do you guys have any other comments about the book? This pretty much took up the entire ALC meeting, but I think the conversation was good.
Hey Sherry, can I share that text? So this is to kind of wrap it all up. This is from a client earlier today. I didn't get up to sleep last night either, so sorry. But Julie and I were just talking about YouTube. Whose realtors go to?
Whose realtors go to families, funerals, and graduations? You crossed the line, now you're family.
We have the opportunity to walk into people's lives and make a difference. We walk into people's homes and we open their closets, their friends don't. I don't let my sister, when she visits, like she doesn't go into my storage. We walk into people's storage, we look at the gunk in their bathroom. We tell them to clean their grout. You know, we're in deep. And if you do that with excellence, like Rick does, you end up connected to those people at a very wonderful level. And I think that's one of the gifts of this business that I love.
It's as simple as care. That's the key. Is that for us, why did we attend our client's father's funeral? Because we care about them. They are friends of ours now. And do we care if they give us a referral? No. Do we care if we get money back from them? No, because they're now our friends. So, you know, the business will grow. The relationships will develop over time and it'll work itself out, but that's valuable too.
On that note, I think you're up.
You want me to come up front?
Sure.
So today we have Hannah Gross here and she is with Cutco and they make excellent knives, but I will let you tell us more about that. So
Yes, for sure. Well,
You can go right in here if you want to.
just like, yeah, right
You can be right in there if you want to.
In the round.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, hello, everyone. My name is Hannah Gross. I'm super excited to be here today. I don't know if anyone remembers me, but I was actually here for the Mega Agent event with Sven Anderson. I noticed the decorations are still up. I love it. It has, you know,
Well, in fact, it's
through.
still happening, so we're still going until August.
Yeah.
Something.
Yeah,
Okay.
awesome. I love it. Yes.
And I'm here today to talk about how to make sure that your clients stay your clients forever, and that you are staying top of mind with every single client that you work with. Especially in the state of the market that we're in now, staying top of mind with your clients obviously matter more than ever. And so the reason that I say that, if your clients, if they can't remember you, they can't use you again and refer you business. And the last time that I checked, the name of the game was getting clients and referral business, right? Now, there was a pretty shocking study done by the National Association of Realtors a little bit ago, where they did a study on the percentage of people who could remember the realtor's name after just 2 years of the transaction. Now, I'm not sure if anyone's heard this study before, but any guesses on the percentage? Just throw numbers out there. 40, okay. 27? Yeah. It's actually 9%. So definitely very heartbreaking to hear, especially for you guys, because you guys spend a lot of time, I know, like obviously finding leads, putting your name out there, building relationships, just for only 9% on average.
Can I interrupt you for a
People can remember
second?
their
So if
name.
that's
Yeah.
9%, can we go back to the conversation? Would anyone notice if you weren't in business? If it's only 9% of repeat referral, I'm guessing that that's gonna be a no for most agents, just FYI.
Yeah, good point. Now, every good realtor in the room knows at the end of the transaction is the beginning of a lifetime of a relationship. And at the end of that relationship, we have the opportunity to brand ourselves, but that sometimes goes by the wayside. So what am I talking about exactly? Anybody know? Yes? Yeah. So essentially client appreciation gift. So how are you appreciating your client? So I'm sure most of you at the end of the closing, give your clients a little something to say thank you. So what are some of the common gifts? I know you guys are just talking about that, like obviously bottles of wine, giving to charities, which is all awesome, but any others, you can just throw them out there, any common gifts that are given? Oh, yeah. Yeah, but a lot of common ones are like gift cards, gift baskets, stuff like that. Now, I'm not here to say people don't like what you give them. Obviously, people like all gifts. They're free, right? The problem is what happens to a lot of those gifts? What are the main challenges? Where do they end up 24, 36 months later? Anybody know? They're gone. Yeah, exactly. They're consumed. So we found that 90% of gifts that are given are consumed. So they get it, they eat it, they drink it, they spend it. It's here today, gone tomorrow. Now, the other 10%, although they might have a longer shelf life, like a crystal vase, a clock, a painting, a mug, a lot of times they get those. We use the mug, for example, they put it on the top shelf and it just sits there and does what? Collects dust. Yeah, and it doesn't really get used that much. So here's the solution. We brand you forever. And what do I mean by forever? So by show of hands, how many of you guys have own Cutco in your home right now, use it as a gift already, or been gifted Cutco? Okay, decent amount of you guys. Yeah, look at all the sexy, intelligent people in the room right now.
Thank you.
Now, keep your hand raised if you have Cutco in your home for more than 5 years. About 10 years, 20. That's awesome. Yeah, imagine if your client had their gift in their home for 20 plus years. The amount of times they're going to be reminded of you. Now, if you have no idea what Cutco is, we are the Rolls Royce, the Bentley of kitchen knives. We're super high quality, made in America, have a famous forever guarantee. And we've even been featured on the History Channel for having the world's sharpest knife. And so what we've done, taken the Cutco product, we engrave it with your name, number, and logo on it, just like this. You can imagine it says Keller Williams on it. And this is going to do a couple things for you and your business. So we have done some very extensive research and found out 2 things. Number 1, everybody has a kitchen. And 2, everybody eats. So it's a very practical gift that obviously everybody's going to use and they're going to appreciate, especially with a lot of people don't have that, good of knives. But then according to, NAR, so who knows the most used room in the house? The kitchen. Yeah, good guess though. The kitchen. So we found that the kitchen, that's where people, they're hanging out, they're cooking, they're entertaining, especially when friends and family come over. And when these knives are being used, it sparks a conversation. Oh, where did you get these, red handle knives? They cut so well. It's like, oh yeah, Hannah, a realtor, gave it to us. She helped us buy XYZ. And then a few months or a few years later, it's like, hey, who was that girl we were talking about? I'm wanting to list my house, or I'm in the market, and then boom, just like that, you got that referral because that conversation was sparked. So not only is it just a gift, it's really a long-term branding tool that's going to create hundreds of touches for you. You're going to be able to be there at all of the family get-togethers, the barbecues, when you're not able to be there. And I like to refer to it as a dishwasher safe business card, but with an edge. So then who knows the legal limit the IRS allows you guys to write off for your gifts? $25. Yep. So we found that realtors were spending anywhere between $100 to $300 and just writing everything off. Hoping
They're
they
getting
don't
that
get
bread and
audited.
butter line.
Yeah. Which probably isn't the best idea, right? So with using Cutco, because it's branded, it then goes into the advertising category, which now makes it 100% tax deductible. And then lastly, I'm just going to assume everybody here wants to be successful in business, right? I'll agree on that. Now, one of the things that all successful people do is they have systems in place to help them become more successful, and then also obviously make their lives way easier. So I help you get a system in place for all of your gifts, and this can go past just closing gifts. You can go referral gifts, top client appreciation gifts, yearly anniversary gifts, which is always a great idea to stop in when it's been their year anniversary of being at their house when it's totally unexpected. And guys, what's in 6 months that you probably aren't thinking about at all?
Christmas.
Christmas, yes. So it's a good time.
We
to
only
think
do
about
that
that as well. Christmas, yes, exactly. So
Like how you guys are like.
yeah. So what I do is, I want to take this just one quick meeting with me to get you set up. All your gifts are taken care of. I get you a 6 or 12 month supply of gifts, ship you 100% of them all up front, so you have them on hand and ready to go. I can bill you over 6 or 12 months, so it's easier on the cash flow. And now you can actually focus on the things that's going to produce you more business instead of, stressing, running around town, trying to find that perfect gift for your specific client. Now, in terms of price goes, our gift sets on average, they're about $75 to $250. We have some that are less, some that are more, but that's just about the average. And again, this is what we found that you guys are spending already, so it's not an added expense. And then we even have luxury lock sets as well for luxury closings too. So what I'm gonna do, so I'm gonna pass this around here in just a minute. I'm also set up in the back as well. Oh, and I did forget to mention, I did bring lunch, which is out in the back room there, so be sure to grab some lunch. But what I want to do first is everybody can have their cell phone, leave them in the air, if you don't care. And if you have any interest in this whatsoever, just open up your text messaging app. I want you just to text me your name and email. I'll give you my phone number in just a minute. So name and email. And then I really love to reward people for taking action towards their business today. And I'm actually in a really big sales contest with my company. So I'm going after helping 20 realtors expand in 2 weeks with their needs. So I'm going to do something extra special for you guys. So anyone who places an order with me today, I have a box full of Cutco knives, and I'll let you pick out a knife that you can take home with you for free for your home. So if you ever wanted Cutco knives for your home, or your knives are really bad, today's the day you can change that and make that happen. So again, any interest, just text me, or you can come see me after if you want to go ahead and just get that out of the way. It would just take a few minutes. So here's my phone number for everyone. If everyone's ready. 502-500-9602. So one more time, 502-500-9602. And I'll be, in the back eating lunch with you guys. So if you have any other questions about this, feel free to ask me. But Here, I'll start it right here. I'm sure Claudia has probably seen this before. But thank you again for the time and the attention today. And I hope you have a super sharp day. Thanks for your time.
We have a few agents here that give them.
Actually great for sandwiches.
Yeah.
It does all of it. You can spread and cut.
Yeah, it is 2-in-1 night.
My kids love it.
That's
All right,
the
buyer wants and needs. We want to do that before we go and eat? Or do you want to just send them to Lydia?
And remember to send them to me.
And remember,
When you send them out.
If you're looking, I'll go, if you're looking for a buyer, if you're looking for a house that's under 3, listed at 3, it's on Xerxes, it's 3338 Xerxes, right off Theodore Worth, right on Veterans Memorial there, great house. It's gonna go on the market live on the 3rd. I'm just gonna switch it to coming soon here shortly. So if you want to get in there before that, knowing that it's not ready, the clients will take a good offer prior to going live if you have anyone that's interested in that.
I've got a townhouse that's a 2-bedroom, 1 bath in Eden Prairie off of Murdoch Terrace, going for $220, so super affordable. And then I have a rental in Dayton. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath townhouse for $2,500 if anybody is looking for that.
listing, will go live this weekend in Shoreview for 284 bedrooms. Super cute Rambler, 4-car garage.
I have a rental in Minneapolis in the Seward neighborhood, and it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath for 23. Ready like the middle of September, October.
all right, send those to Lydia and then go grab, I think the food is in the kitchen. Awesome. Have a good day.